The year was 2007. I'm playing through Bioshock when my parents come and tell me to turn off the Xbox. I had been on it all day. Before bed, I flicked through the channels on TV, but nothing was really clicking with me that night. Until I heard that voice.
Hello, you.
This dude was talking about video games, so I stuck around. He was reviewing a game called Night Trap, a game using real actors on a console I'd never heard of at the time, the Sega CD. And then I bear witness to the shower scene. Ever since that day, I have taken an interest in what is known as FMV games. They'd catch my eye, and I'd give them a fair shot, since I believe many gamers really don't. In my personal opinion, I believe an interactive story with real actors has the ability to create a gripping narrative with extra investment, since we, the players, are aiding the actions of a protagonist who is, well, a real person. We've seen choose-your-own-adventure style games be done to varying degrees of success by companies such as Telltale, Don't Nod and more, and I believe gamers are really starting to believe that story can be more important than gameplay sometimes. But you may have noticed there that none of the games shown have FMV. Well, there must be a reason, right? Despite my beliefs around FMV games and their potential, there must be a reason why they all pretty much died out after the boom of CD technology in gaming. I'm getting way ahead of myself here. What does FMV even stand for, and what's an FMV game? Well, to put it simply, an FMV video game, a full motion video game, is a game that uses pre-recorded video for its gameplay, either through live actors or animation, instead of your traditional type of gameplay. Instead of controlling the character yourself, the character follows a scripted path, and your job is to, more often than not, either press a button when required or make a choice. An FMV game isn't strictly an interactive movie, as for example, the arcade version of Wild Gunman by Nintendo used FMV in the form of pre-made animation, and the Guy game used FMV to... Those games did use FMV, but I guess they weren't strictly FMV games. Interactive movies, from my research, always use FMV though, for, well, obvious reasons. It's scripted. So I can understand why they get lumped together, but I plan to one day cover interactive movies separately from FMV games, as it seems FMV games are normally aimed at gamers since they attempt to have actual gameplay, while interactive movies are normally aimed at filmgoers since all you do there is control the story and... Night Trap. Night Trap is one of those games I heard so much about for years, seeing this box art in my internet travels and knowing the basic history of this game. Very quick history lesson here. Night Trap is an FMV game developed by Digital Pictures that was shot in 1987 for a cancelled Hasbro console, and was shelved until 1992 when Sega used Night Trap to advertise the power of CD technology in their new console add-on at the time, the Sega CD, or Mega CD in the UK. Night Trap ended up being used alongside Mortal Kombat as a principal subject in a 1993 United States Senate committee hearing around video game violence, which ended up leading to the creation of the ESRB, the Video Game Ratings Board in the USA. Night Trap is also the creator of some fantastic irony.
And let me say that for the record, I want to state that Night Trap will never appear on a Nintendo system. Obviously, it would not pass our guidelines.
There is so much I want to say about Night Trap outside of the game itself, but to truly understand Night Trap and give it a fair shake of the stick, we have to, actually play it. 25 years after its initial release, Screaming Villains, or Tyler Hogle as it's just one fella, developed a port of the game to modern consoles, with limited run games handling the publishing, which included a physical release. You can get the game on Steam, Xbox One, PS4, PS Vita for some reason, and, what we'll be playing on today, the Nintendo Switch. Sorry, Howard. We open with a video showing a dude holding a controller capturing people through a variety of comical traps, which then transitions into a room where members of SCAT, the Special Control Attack Team, are holding a meeting. It turns out what we just saw is actual camera footage from inside a place known as the Martin Winery Estate. These funky ass traps are therefore security, and the SCAT team have managed to put an override cable on the traps, giving us complete control. They even acknowledge our existence, which is nice, a theme that carries out throughout this game. There's a group of girls heading to the estate to spend a weekend there, including an undercover agent, Kelly, played by Dana Plato. Our job is to protect these girls from... something? The intro is fine, but it's rough around the edges. The first time I saw the editing on Kelly's file footage, I laughed out loud, but what's interesting to me is that this is actually another version of the introduction and not the original. That first clip with the dude in the remote has never been seen in any version of Night Trap before, and the Sega CD version has an entirely different intro. This one's much more in your face, with the dude talking to you being a lot stricter and insulting your ability before you even start. The name SCAT now means Sega Control Attack Team, and overall it has a very Genesis does what Nintendo don't kind of feel to it. Which do I prefer? Both aren't perfect, but I'd say I prefer the Sega CD version, as I understood the game a tad more watching this version more than I do the new one.
Now, I'll switch you over. and good luck.
Okay, so we've got 8 cameras to keep track of, and... Ah! People! People! Oh, there are colours. Do I match the colours on the bottom? So, yellow, right? When do I trap these people? Hold on, the possible number is rising, but I can't catch any of these people. Who even are these people? Get trapped! Get trapped! Get trapped! They're singing now!
You've missed way too many of those suckers. Now, until you figure out how to do your job and do it right, you're dismissed. Breaking contact.
What is going on? How was I supposed to know what to do? Oh, I knew that. I was just testing you as all. Yeah, gotta keep you on your toes. Top marks. Let's move on. So, remember I said I prefer the Sega CD version of the introduction? Well, in that, they actually mention that the colour changes over time and the starting colour is blue.
Right now, the code is set to blue.
Meanwhile, in the new one, they just avoid that important fact altogether. Perhaps every version after the Sega CD version had an instructions tab so they ignored it, I don't know. Speaking of the Sega CD, this "You Failed" video that comes up when you let too many of those things into the house, looks like it's from the Sega CD version. Here's the intro and here's the "You Failed" bit side by side. What do you think? If you're playing this just to play the game and you're not here for the goofy FMV fun, then just read the instructions and start the game, as this gets to the point much faster. I read through this and had a bit more of an understanding of what's going on and what I have to do now. So when those dudes in black garb are near a trap, the meter below will go yellow and then red. When it's red, the trap can be activated. Traps only work when the colour below is flashing red. The Martins, the people who own this big ass crib, change the codes throughout the night, and I have to try and catch them when they are talking about changing the code so I know what the code actually is.
I'd feel better if we switched the code again to blue.
If I don't know what the colour is, you simply can't use the traps. You just gotta guess until you get it right. And the starting colour is blue, as we also learned from the Sega CD intro.
Blue.
Okay, I have a bit more confidence now, but I still have a few questions up in my noggin. In particular, who are these funny-looking, shambling mofos? But I guess we'll work that out as we go along. So, second go through, and I'm actually making progress. I'm scrolling through, capturing some intruders, and hearing some lines of dialogue.
Well, do you think they can handle it?
Of course they can. What could possibly go wrong?
What's best about this version of Night Trap compared to other versions is that the bottom of the screen actually has video of what's going on in the room, meaning you can see who's actually in a room instead of guessing. This is actually one thing I did like about this game, that's the UI. It has a version for every release of the game, Sega CD, Panasonic 3DO, PC, and a new one for this edition. Oh, sorry, CD32X. Each layout has their quirks to them to make them better or worse, such as the map of the house's placement on the screen and if the room's name is shown to you. What's kind of nifty is that you can have the original lower screen format or have the modern version, so you could play the Sega CD version but with actual video below. I mean, if you wanted to. Yo, you can change the language of the dialogue in this game. I have been brushing off my Japanese recently, so maybe we'll understand the story a bit more if I play it in Japanese.
私たちだけよ。どんなことでもやり放題。パパとママはいない。これこそチャンスじゃない。
She kisses her mother with that mouth? Yeah, even with little Japanese, I still have no clue what's going on. I am picking up on things here and there, but I've noticed if you actually try and watch the story, you're missing out on enemies coming into the house, which will lead to a game over eventually. I did pick up on the word augurs multiple times, which means it probably will be important later on.
Think of the poor, starving augurs.
Too bad we must visit the Augs tonight.
Victor and I have to make a visit to the augurs tonight.
Come on, darling, the Augurs are waiting.
But besides that, no idea.
We have complete control of the cameras and the traps.
But who operates that?
They do.
These traps will become the bane of your existence at the start of your Night Trap career. As you can see here, on my second go around, I missed a colour change and now I am screwed beyond belief unless I guess the colour. I failed at the same place again, even though I'd stopped way more enemies this time than I did the first time around. This game is pretty damn strict. It really is a game that'll annoy a fair few contemporary gamers in my opinion. I have to keep playing to learn about the timing of when to do what and where. I'd also have to actually plan a playthrough to understand the story as well, as I still don't understand what I'm protecting the girls from. Are the owners of the house behind these weird dudes? Are they facing two separate threats at once? I don't know. The next go around, I noticed I was actually getting a bit more used to the timing of some traps. As a result, the game is letting me go further this time. I guess I caught enough to keep going, so here's a threshold of if you've caught enough to continue. We learnt there's a dude from Scat infiltrating the house. It turns out the girls in the living room were singing a song that will get stuck in your head if you listen to it. Somebody's into some freaky stuff, and... I did not see that coming. Fair play to them. But now I believe we need something to lighten the mood a little, you know?
Me boat! Boat! Oh! Me boat, ain't it a beauty?
Perfect. It seems these mofos are trying to collect blood. That was one of the teams that went missing at the start of the game. Oh crap, I can't wait too soon! Go back, go back, go back, go back, go back! He'll be fine! He'll be fine! Oh. Wait, this is it! This is the moment! This is the reason we have ratings boards besides Mortal Kombat! Well, don't you worry, Howard Lincoln. I'm gonna save this girl's life and you'll have no reason to be a concerned parent.
Megan, this isn't gonna work. You're not scaring me. Wait. What are you doing? No! Leave me alone!
No, no, no! The colour! The colour! The colour, I tell you!
I put the lives of those girls in your hands, and you screwed up. I'm pulling the plug on you before you do any more damage. Breaking contact.
The colour was wrong! I managed to get past this bit on my next try, and this time I'm gonna get further and work out what is going on in this story. We have a body hanging in the cupboard, so something is up. A pair of green eyes and a weird remote that blows people up later. I'm just accepting it now. The girls find the body and are rightly scared. Kelly informs the lot that I am watching them with my pants definitely on, and we are moving, baby! Conflict at long last! This girl then gets bitten by one of the homeowners, but I didn't get a game over, so I'm guessing she's just not that important. Sorry, love. Okay.
Control, how could you let that happen?
Women, you can't win. Am I right, fellas? Well, I guess all I can really do now is try again. Oh, for fuck! Right, I have messed up enough times. I think I've got this down now. I also think I have the gist of the story. These guys are the augurs. They're after these girls to suck their blood, as they are vampire-like beings, but it seems they don't have teeth unlike our friend here. So they use this strange yet comically funny contraption to suck blood out of people. So with that out of the way, boom, boom, bap. How do you like that, Kelly?
Way to go, Control. I knew you could do it.
I think she has a crush on me. And I think I have a crush on her. She must survive, so when the morning sun hits our skin tomorrow, I can proclaim to her my feelings. Finally, a motive.
Tony, I don't understand. This is crazy.
Don't be foolish, Kelly. They wouldn't stand in my way. Would you?
Oh, thanks, Control. That was close.
You remember the scat team? Yeah, me neither. Well, they're finally rocking up to save my girl Kelly and the rest. But I honestly don't care that much anymore. I have tried my best to naturally relay the story to you, but every time I would start to watch some story, I would see an augur, catch it, and then come back to only miss the damn scene. You really should just play the game and then get the story later.
What is an augur? Dare to die.
My point exactly. But stuff's going down and my girl Kelly is the last man or woman standing.
But it was going to be a surprise.
Thanks. Now!
The wall trap!
Yeah! No! Thanks, Control. You just saved my life. And you were very good. You saved all my friends. Trapped most of the Augs. I'll bet with a little practice you could be perfect.
Person coming out from behind the camera aside, we did it, I guess. Even though I don't believe we did, considering I saw a friend of mine get bitten, and also scat team members died on my watch, so we didn't save everyone. Also, did she just say there's a perfect ending? To get good enough to get the perfect ending, you really have to become a night trap machine, as you have to catch everybody. I guess I'm not ready yet. What I need is some training. Wait, how is doing this going to help me get better at a video game? I didn't think this through. Right, I ran away from my problems for a bit. I have blisters that are going to bother me for weeks. I think I'm ready. Let's talk. This game is so annoying to get a perfect run of. I played this so many damn times to get the timing down, and all I got was 95 out of 100. Not enough. So I went, screw this, and used a guide. And I still only got 95! You want to know why? Some of these traps are so unreliable. Mainly in the living room. I had this issue where sometimes a trap just would not work, which is funny as you can spam the trap button with no consequence, an issue that would be addressed in the next title by Digital Pictures, Double Switch. I think the only way to truly show you how annoyed I am at this game is just to show you my notes I wrote at the time. I was actually trying to look at the story beats and missed one. Fuck. Gonna keep trying. Fuck. I missed 5! Fuck this, I am getting a guide. Trying again. The trap did not work. It happened again. Fuck this. If I wasn't trying to work out what the story was for this video, I'd really not care, as you have to go out of your way to even find out what's going on. Not like in other games like Resident Evil, where you can find notes that add more layers and lore to the story you're already being told. Here, you have to go out of your way to simply understand the story outside of save the girls. This is what a playthrough looks like when you're going for 100%. This is what it looks like when you're trying to watch the story.
Guess we'll have to take care of this.
If you want to understand the story at all, watch a supercut on YouTube.
I read the title and it says you're respecting Night Trap, but all I saw here was a negative review. Clickbait!
Well, although I don't like Night Trap for the reasons I have stated, I do admire it as a project. As a port for fans, this is great. There are collectibles you can earn in the game, behind the scenes images, and there's a gallery mode to rewatch clips you have seen if you're so inclined to, and to top it off, if you get a perfect game, good luck by the way, you can unlock Scene of the Crime. This is the original prototype that was pitched to Hasbro to illustrate what they could do on their Nemo console. In Scene of the Crime, you switch between cameras to see who out of a small cast of characters nicked the money from a safe, and at the end, you get to guess who did the crime. Plus, in this version of Night Trap, you get to pick what UI you want, as I mentioned before. There's a survivor mode where the objective is to see how long you can last and how many augurs you can catch, so if you're a fan of just hunting down the augurs, there's a mode just for that. Although some of the technical issues really peed me off, there's one that I actually find kind of cute. You may have noticed on some of the footage that at times there is noise, static, or even missing footage with stuff such as the you fail screen. This is because, well, some stuff is missing or they don't have the master of that shot anymore. Here, you really get the feeling that this is the best version of Night Trap we are ever going to get. Every bit of footage is being used and we're seeing the true definitive version. Plus, it has behind the scenes of the game, something I wish more games had, including the 1995 documentary Dangerous Games, which details the controversy of Night Trap, and a documentary by My Life in Gaming, which you can also watch on YouTube. And in it, I really connected with Night Trap on a production level, and I found it really interesting learning about the writing of the script with timings in mind and stuff like that. Creating a project like this looks like so much fun and a unique challenge. Sure, the final product may have not been super fun to play, but it's a respectable piece of work. I have a personal interest in FMV games. I made a basic one at university thanks to the help of some people that I did not give the respect they deserved at the time, and it was such a tough project. To create an interactive story, you have to break a fair few filmmaking rules and create new ways of working. It feels to me like the crew behind Night Trap had to do that, and to me, it's actually really inspiring. I hope I have the chance one day to make an FMV game on a much bigger scale than I was able to before, with better tech and a bigger team. And when I do, I'm going to use Night Trap as an inspiration on what to do, and certainly what not to do. But yeah, to address the title, I think Night Trap deserves more respect on a production level as it's a fantastic achievement. And yeah, Night Trap did change the gaming industry forever. Speaking of, when it got re-released it was given a teen rating from the ESRB. An interesting choice considering the game got a mature rating once the ESRB was established. Times change, man. But do they? Was this game really that bad? I could understand why Mortal Kombat was used as evidence against video game violence, but Night Trap? When watching the documentaries, it really seemed like the court was out for Night Trap's blood, no pun intended, as when Tom Zito, producer of Night Trap, tried to defend the infamous scene where one of the characters is in a nightgown and her blood is sucked with that contraption, he was silenced. Zito himself went to the senator and, well, roll the clip.
At the end of the hearings, I walked up to Lieberman and I said to him, Senator, have you ever actually played this game? And he said, I don't have to. This is filth.
To test the senator's claims of this game being filled with sex, violence, and overall being filth, I've enlisted the help of my youngest brother to play the game for himself, and I filmed his live reactions, and, like any good journalist, I asked the tough questions.
Is that some kind of washing machine he's got right there?
What do you think's going on?
Drilling into her? Are they trying to drill into her?
Could you go and get an apparatus like that and drill into someone?
I don't know. It's hard.
Don't know. Maybe there's a reason Nintendo was right then. Do you think this is reproducible violence? Can you reproduce that weird contraption that goes around someone's neck and drills them?
I don't
Could you,
think
the average
so.
person, do that? No, you don't think so.
I mean, you could. You just need to get something that molds around your neck.
Okay.
And kind of put a little hole into it, a drill.
But could anyone do that?
Probably, if you were being very specific.
But could you make that? Is that reproducible? I have a fist, I could punch you. Do you have a contraption like that?
Probably not.
And that was the argument they were saying.
Yeah,
this is
it's
reproducible violence.
It's very specific.
Exactly. Perfect. This is very specific and very, very, very hard to reproduce.
So I want to make this thing that sucks blood out of people. Oh wait, that's just a needle.
Bruh.
I read the title and it says that you respect Night Trap, but all this has been is a negative review. Clickbait!
Right.